I'm Shirakawa from Oenso. Thank you for having me again today.
Thank you. I think Oenso's delivery routes are usually fixed, but we've talked about how more routes will become inaccessible due to the 2024 problem. It seems like even more places will be off limits as more restrictions are added, right?
Well, even for places we've always gone to, if we don't improve efficiency, we'll just use up all our allotted hours and labor time, and eventually the entire fleet's movement will just grind to a halt.
That would affect the entire horse racing industry, wouldn't it?
That's true. I'm not sure about the race transport companies, but even those specialized in race transport, well, for the past 10 years or more, they've been doing more than just moving horses to the tracks year-round. I wonder how much time they're actually spending on that.
Oenso doesn't handle Rito, but you do take care of the Miho area, right?
Regarding the surrounding areas, we do go to Rito, but...
Right. I was on the highway recently heading back to my hometown in Shiga, and near Shigaraki I saw a Takano transport truck pass me and then get off at the Shigaraki exit. So I'm just guessing, but does that mean race transport companies are handling the Rito area?
Oh, they are. They definitely are. It's not just them. Several companies are involved. Even some operators from Hokkaido are in there.
Is that so?
But besides race transport, there are maybe 2 or 3 companies.
I think I saw a Northliner truck passing by too.
They only handle the immediate vicinity.
So they work nearby, but for long distances like Oenso's route between Miho and Hokkaido, you've been making various stops and going out of your way to deliver until now, right?
That's right.
You've gone to Chiba and Tochigi as well, if I recall correctly.
Yes, we have.
So those routes might start changing from now on, is that the idea?
Yes, that's right. As I believe I mentioned before, there is a plan to build a large facility in Iwaki, which is in Fukushima. And as I've already said, unfortunately, we won't be able to go there either. There's also talk of a relocation toward Takasaki, further into the mountains. We have a route from Miho, but it would become even further away. I've told them that since it already takes a lot of time, any further distance would be really difficult for us.
Do they actually consult you during the planning stage?
No, I just heard rumors. They never ask for our input beforehand. For example, when they build a new farm, or even JRA facilities, we only find out after it's built. Then we go there and realize the layout makes loading hard, or access is difficult.
That's a design issue, isn't it? And then there are issues with the loading docks and such.
Exactly.
So from the client side, they build based on business decisions or geography like cheap land, but they don't really consider the transportation aspect much.
Right. So I think I've mentioned this many times, but people might think that like a home delivery service will come anywhere if you ask, but that's never really been the case. There are places we just can't go. In the past, for very remote areas or places where farms aren't concentrated, we, and likely other companies too, would have to decline. But for places we used to go, people will probably wonder why we can't come anymore.
You mentioned in a previous video that you were preparing some materials, but regarding that, do you plan to include those details in them?
Yes, I think it's better not to mention specific names of certain large farms, but I am indeed including the issues regarding the routes.
I see. So by looking at those materials, people can tell if their location is affected, right?
That's right.
Is this just about Honshu? Regarding these route issues, will there be places in Hokkaido that become inaccessible as well?
Yes, it depends on the discussions with customers, but there are indeed places that are hard to reach. Even for those who have horses now, some are off the main routes. Between Iburi Hidaka and Hakodate, there's only one main highway for a while.
Right.
If you go further inland toward the mountains from there, a 1-hour trip one way becomes a 2-hour loss for the round trip, you know? That's 2 extra hours of labor and duty time right there. I'm working on the materials now, focusing on how we can reduce that even a little bit. We're so short-staffed that we can't even have drivers wash the trucks anymore just to keep them moving. I don't know how many times a month we'd go to those places, but the more we go, the more time we waste. So things are getting really tough.
So does that mean the number of possible visits per month will decrease for those remote areas?
Whether it's the number of visits or something else, well, I'm considering various options right now. like asking the farms to bring the horses closer to the main route, similar to...
How was it back in the days of freight cars? I see.
Exactly, like when farm staff used to bring them to the station. Unless we all cooperate within the industry to that extent, the number of horses we can transport will drop significantly. Even if we coordinate, if we don't act, horses simply won't be able to move. That's the situation we're facing.
Since it's already 2026, that's been in effect for 2 years now. Even after 2 years,
It's still not fully implemented. And in that same year, another law or rule.
it was introduced.
Then in 2025, even stricter ones came out. And this year, the new Trucking Business Act. The names of the laws keep changing. They're evolving rapidly.
I believe I saw a newspaper article recently about Japan Post being suspended due to improper roll calls.
The other day, or when was it? About a week or 10 days ago, I think, there was news about downsizing sales offices nationwide.
Is that so? Well, I guess so.
That was a big topic at first, too. On January 3rd, when the first truck went out, our driver told me that the post office in the Mitsubishi district, Shinhidaka town, used to be Shizunai and Mitsubishi, had been suspended due to some penalty. I was like, what? I hadn't heard a thing, and it's so close by. When I looked up post office penalties, a whole list of them popped up all across the country.
That many. Wow.
The news, yeah, it's incredible. The number of penalties just keeps growing. Yeah, it's not even making the news anymore. There are just so many. The numbers are staggering.
It's about the 24-hour shifts, right? The roll calls?
Exactly. Well, Bansha Transport in Hokkaido operates 24 hours a day, so they're running through the night. Basically, it's morning, noon, and night. To put it simply, we have to do it even more frequently, depending on the truck's movements. Our retired staff, people who've worked with us for a long time, help out with it. I haven't done it lately, but I used to do it all the time. The previous generation, my father, the dispatchers, they all did it. And at night...
How do you handle the roll calls at night?
For the night roll calls, well, how should I put it? In the past, for Hakodate, we had starts at 8 or 9 p.m. Even then, whenever a truck leaves the head office or a branch, or when it returns, someone has to be there in person for what we call a face-to-face roll call. We have to do that. Checking their health if they're okay.
Right, like if they're fit to drive and fatigue.
Fatigue levels, and even when they're getting on or off a ferry in the middle of the night, we have to do it. So it's really a 24-hour operation at every milestone.
You have to do it at each of those points.
Up until now, it was handled by the executives, the officers, and myself. Basically, the group whose working hours aren't strictly regulated. But even so, there's a limit to that, right? You can't keep living like that when you have work to do during the day as well. So we're recruiting people for those roles, and we're still looking for operation managers now. If the retired staff weren't helping us out, it would be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, but the retired staff won't be around forever either.
Exactly. So it really helps if people who've retired from the field can step into those positions. Honestly, I think we're the only company in this industry in Hokkaido where so many people who can no longer drive full-time stay with the company. That's how we've managed to cover Sapporo and Hakodate, because we have people who don't usually drive but can fill in for specific shifts.
They have the experience, so they can handle those situations. Since the routes are changing, that has an impact. And there's the impact on the people as well, right?
Right. So, for example, with the roll calls for the postal service, I'm not sure how many hours those branches were operating, but even at a single branch like the one in Shizunai, where they might start early in the morning and finish by night, the people doing the roll calls on shift, I wonder what time they start in the morning. I've seen them operating from 6 a.m. though, in the warehouse preparing the trucks and all. I wonder what time they start. Well, even if they start at 6, they'd probably need to take breaks, so you'd likely need 3 people a day just for those hours, even if it's not 24 hours. So...
Then wouldn't you need double that?
Well, you can't simply say double, but for us it's 24 hours, right? Simply put, at the bare minimum, it's 8 hours per person, right? That's the basic daily working hours. So, 3 people for 24 hours. They could stagger their breaks, but with 3 people for 24 hours, 365 days, well, they'd be working constantly, though the company has some holidays. But that's with those people having no days off, the absolute minimum on paper. So no matter how much you reduce the staff, you need at least 4 or 5 people. But with 4 or 5 people, we can cover the gaps ourselves. If the main staff is properly in place, well, right now we're doing it while handling other work, so it's a burden there too.
It's a rule that a person has to do it, right? The roll call, I mean.
Basically, yes. Now, things like IT roll calls and remote roll calls are emerging. The scale at which remote roll calls are allowed, well, the hurdle has been lowered a bit. We're moving forward with implementing it, but in the end, a human still has to handle it at that time. It's not automated, so you just don't have to be on site. You don't have to commute to the office, but you might be at home or somewhere else handling it online. Labor is still being performed, right? You absolutely have to be working during that time, so you're not really free.
Can't something be done about that? There's a labor shortage everywhere to begin with.
So I don't know if the government is tightening the rules like this based on the assumption that things have been working fine until now. If an audit were actually conducted, I think you'd find many cases where it's not being done. However, the penalties for that. Before the 2024 problem, they were relatively light. Now they've become very strict, and it's easy to get a business suspension. The number of vehicles that can be grounded at once has also increased. And with the 5-year renewal system starting, if you fail that, you won't be able to operate after that. Basically, you'll lose your license.
Right, yeah, okay.
Exactly. So if you really don't keep those daily things in order and actually do them properly, even if there isn't an accident, if your license isn't renewed, then that's it. Your business is over.
Is it a one strike and you're out thing?
One strike. Your license just won't be renewed. It's not even about a penalty anymore. It's a matter of not being allowed to operate from the next day.
If that happens, everyone will be out on the street, right? I mean, the employees, the president, and everyone involved, so...
If we don't handle that properly, the old "it'll work out somehow" attitude just won't cut it anymore. Well, I've gone a bit off topic, but considering everything, I guess I'm talking more from a management perspective now. For example, costs will naturally go up, and it'll take more time to get off the main route. A while back, long-time horse racing fans would probably recognize the name. There was a ranch located quite far away, towards Ohe. It was a 2-hour drive one way in the opposite direction. Anyway, from the starting point...
They go toward Urakawa, right?
Ah yes, exactly. And then they'd go even further past Urakawa toward Ohe. So the start would be in the middle of the night. It's definitely a place we'd have to turn down now. Well, they're not operating anymore, so it's fine.
I wonder what will happen with the main routes. Will it be like creating documents saying this is the main route, setting up designated stops and asking everyone to bring their horses there, like asking for their cooperation?
Ideally, yes, but some might say, we have so many horses and we let you transport them every day. Or, we're a bit far, but please, come pick them up. The old way of thinking has to change. Before the 2024 problem, we'd go because they were a major client and a pillar of our business. But doing that now means we can't carry other cargo.
You mean you can't transport other horses?
In this industry, yes, it means we can't transport other horses. We're not a dedicated subcontractor or a subsidiary. My view is that for the whole industry, I don't want to see it shrink. It's about how much we can minimize the inevitable decrease in total transport volume. If it's a private charter, it's not so bad because you go straight there and then straight to the next place. But trying to fit that in while picking up horses on a regular route is just too tough. I think there are various ways to handle it, like ranches and trainers adjusting their scheduling. They'll have to do things differently. It'll be more like a charter system where we say, we're going this way on this day to load, or please let us load for this area on this day. If we just keep doing everything exactly as requested like before, the number of trips we can actually make will drop.
Ultimately, that means the total transport volume decreases, right?
Exactly.
And if so?
So it's not just about our company, but really, within the industry, we really need to coordinate our movements and work together as a team. If we only transport horses for our own regular clients and refuse to help others, the total number of horse movements across the industry will drastically plummet, which could have a negative impact on everyone involved. It is important for everyone to cooperate and support each other. If clients insist on having specific terms or conditions for their own horses, then unfortunately their own horses may not be able to move at all. But we need them to truly understand that this is a collective effort and that working together is the only way to ensure that all horses can be transported safely and efficiently.
It's no longer at a level where individual companies can just talk about their likes and dislikes, is it?
That's right. Well, we need to team up where we can. Even among competitors in the same industry, we need to share factories or research facilities or form group companies through joint ventures and mutual investment. If we don't do that, it's really no good. It's more than that, really. In terms of the image, well, but really, Unless everyone in the industry thinks together and cooperates, that's the best way to maintain the number of horses we move, even by a little. For me, right now, that's where I want to take things. Better ideas might come up later, but if we can all start talking about various things.
If we can have those positive discussions with others in the industry, I think even better ideas might come out, don't you think?
That's true. I'm not sure if I'd call it positive, but if we just focus on ourselves, that's not good. But if everyone teams up properly, I'm starting to think we can make it work. Well, there's a limit to the absolute numbers, of course, but I'm starting to see that it might work out better than I thought. Like the construction industry with the 2024 problem, they're dealing with it, but on weekends, almost. I'm not sure about public works, but you don't really see carpenters working anymore, do you?
That's true, you don't.
Because they can't make them work anymore, they're following the law. Yes.
So that's how it is everywhere now.
So that's really what it's about. You can't just make people work anymore, and the world is really changing that way. To survive, we have to adapt properly. Yeah, the penalties for clients are getting stricter and stricter, aren't they? The same goes for the transaction laws. Yes.
Right.
If they make unreasonable demands, the shippers can be punished now. If it's bad, they might even disclose the company or individual names. Until now, in various industries, clients who forced things and those who had to accept those jobs, that's all changing in that context, really. I think we need to create a mindset and an environment where we cooperate with each other.
I see. So the key to a solution is industry-wide cooperation along with the understanding and support of customers, right?
That's right. Well, I'd like to talk about it in more detail another time, though.
Yes, with a bit.
More detail, I see.
Understood. Well, shall we wrap it up for today?
Yes, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ohe.
At Ohe Transport, we are looking for drivers. Please check the recruitment site or corporate site in the description, and if you're interested, we'd love for you to apply. Thank you.